it's Dr. Ian, and tonight I'm at the Amari in the Rimsuan room, and I've been here listening to an address by the British Ambassador, His Excellency Asif Ahmad. Your Excellency, it has been quite an eye-opener for many of the people here. There is this idea that the ambassador is somebody up there and us little people don't really matter. You changed all that tonight.
Well, I'm never sure that was always the case. Maybe the perceptions have come out that way, which is unfortunate. I mean, I'm somebody who was born in Paddington in fairly normal circumstances. My dad worked for the BBC. When I was a student, I worked in a factory making Cumberland sausages in Carlisle. I went to university in Durham, and I've climbed my way up through a banking career and had the great good fortune to join the Foreign Office in 1999. And the bottom line is this, that my job is to represent the people of Britain, whether they're people in business, people who are visitors here, or people who have chosen to live here. And it's not for me to judge who is up and who is down. It's just people are people. And as long as they have a British passport or a Thai passport and they want to invest in the UK, I'm happy to talk to anyone.
You mentioned that you are, in your position, a representative or looking after the British nationals that are here. There is an idea out there that the British Embassy is actually looking after the British contingent in the UK, not necessarily looking after British personnel, individuals in a foreign country.
And I think our primary job is to look after British citizens full stop, whether they're at home or abroad. Now, it's important for the British economy that British business, who is one part of the constituency, should be looked after so they make money, they pay taxes, and we all benefit from that. British tourists are vulnerable because quite often all they want is a good time. They hadn't accounted for airports being shut or volcano ash or jet ski scams or whatever. That wasn't part of the deal. So it's quite natural that we should hold out a hand and help them. But the British resident community here is actually many of those. There are tourists who forgot to go home. There are people who chose to stay here and make their lives here. There are people who are businesses here. And today I visited very substantial businesses here. So to say that we're not interested in helping them, I think is not quite how I see it. But what I do understand is that, as always, there will be limited resources. You know, we can't be as big as we are in the UK in terms of helping the citizens here, and we've got to be careful on how we use the people that we have. And that's why on the 3rd of June, many colleagues from the embassy will be here in Pattaya, talking to representatives of the community here and saying, what is it that you want, and in what way can we stretch the limited resources that we have?
You mentioned the British contingent down here. A lot of these people are pensioners. Now they have a complaint that their pensions have been frozen, they're no longer indexed. What's your feeling personally and also in your position as the British ambassador?
Personally, I feel for people who feel vulnerable. And there are people who made choices perhaps many years ago when the baht was a lot weaker. Their circumstances were different, their health was probably better, and maybe their expectations of what life would be like over here was not really borne out. And I've heard some very, very terrible stories of neglect and desperation. And where we can, we will try and help. But I think this is an issue that we heard when I came here when I was doing my previous job as the regional head in London. And I came here with the minister. It was the members of the British Chamber actually raised that with him directly. And he said he would look at the policy and see if it needed changing. The decision he made was that the policy would, at the moment, remain unchanged. Part of it, I think, is affordability. Part of it is about consistency around the world, although there are instances in Commonwealth countries and others. But it's an issue that I think will need addressing, and we will look out for an argument. But at the moment, disappointingly for many of your viewers, there is no change in British government policy on this.
I think you mentioned the key word, and it was affordability. One would have to be totally blind to the world situation to not know that the UK, as many countries, now have to look very much at costs. Cost containment is a very important factor, and there probably just isn't the money to throw around to people overseas.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's been following the news will know that, yes, there's a huge challenge and the public sector simply has to shrink. And it's manifested in another issue that people raise with me, you haven't, but I will, which is passports. You know, why are passports issued in Hong Kong and not in Bangkok? Well, if we carried on down this track of producing passports abroad, it would go from the price it is now to 300 to 500 very, very quickly. And I think the sensible thing would be to bring it all back to the UK to ensure that the citizen gets the service, but it's indifferent as to where the passport is produced from. Emergencies we can always deal with, but that's another example of something where simply throwing money at it is not the solution.
Sure. Your Excellency, thank you very much indeed for talking with Pattaya Mail TV, and I can talk on behalf of the expats in Pattaya that we are very appreciative of the fact that you came down here, you gave us a very honest address, and we are looking forward to the next time you come down.
Well, I'll be back for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.